lovely good afternoon. Time now for midday news. Let's look at the headlines. Traders in LUSAKA'S MUTENDERE East oppressed by political party CADRES. Zambia economic growth coincidental charges PF presidential hopeful CHISHIMBA KAMBWILI. In our international headlines, Senegal mourns dozens killed in bush crash. And in sports, another World Cup record for Zambia as CHIKOTESHA gets top appointment. We have the details after this message.
Hi ladies and gentlemen, I'm Cholwe from Cho's Fitness Gym. We're a fully functional gym located along Twin Palm Road in Kablonga, right by Cheshire Homes Society of Zambia. So we have various classes that happen from Monday to Friday. We have aerobics, we have boot camp, we have step aerobics, we have spinning, we have kettlebell classes. They happen from 18 to 19 hours every day, and we are open from 06 until 20 hours. That's Monday to Friday. Then Saturdays 6 to 12, and then Sundays we are closed. And most public holidays we are open 6 to 12.
Camnet Stars Football Club, popularly known as the local national team, is inviting all skillfully gifted, talented and creative soccer players from across Zambia. Ages between 16 and 20 must come, train and join the club. The category of these gifted footballers have the chance to go and market their talent in Europe and USA through Camnet Stars Football Club, a team formed with a vision to produce quality international players. Please do not miss this brief open opportunity given to you. Camnet Stars Football Club could be your gateway to your international soccer career. Venue, Kablonga Boys Secondary School grounds. Date 12th December 2022 to 21st January 2023. Time 09 hours to 11 hours. Your time to shine is now.
And now the news in detail. To present it, my name is Louisiana Lupombwe. The Lusaka Magistrate Court has found the 81-year-old man accused of trafficking in 63 grams of marijuana with a case to answer. Delivering ruling Monday, Chief Resident Magistrate Davis Chibweli says after analyzing the evidence adduced, the prosecution has established a prima facie case against Tai Mwape. More in this report.
He still has more days in custody until the court gives its final verdict. Tai Mwape, an 81-year-old man who has continued to appear before the Lusaka's Magistrate Court over allegations that he trafficked 68 grams of marijuana, has been found with a case to answer. Mr. Mwape has been put on his defense by Chief Resident Magistrate Davis Chibweli after the court established in its ruling that the prosecution team has established a prima facie case against him. The accused of Kavuma village in Waterfalls area is facing a charge of trafficking in psychotropic substance. On the 23rd of November 2023, Mwape, the accused, allegedly trafficked in 68 grams of marijuana, a herbal product of cannabis, without lawful authority. He pleaded not guilty to the charge, leaving the state to call witnesses to testify against him. During trial, the court heard from Rose Chinto, a scenes of crimes officer at Charleston Police Station, narrating how, on the 26th of November 2022, she was assigned to accompany Deputy Criminal Investigations Officer Patrick Changwa to recover stolen goods in Chavuma, which led to the arrest of the accused person. In his ruling on case or no case to answer, Magistrate Chibweli says the evidence adduced by witnesses has warranted the court to place the accused on his defense. He says a public analyst informed the court that the suspected drugs found at the accused house were tested and marijuana was found on the substance. The magistrate, who quoted the Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substance Act, says ingredient of the charge against the accused had been proved. The accused wife was also in court following proceedings alongside activist Michael Zulu and other sympathizers. The court has since set the 18th of January 2023 as the date for judgment. Miriam Kaimba reporting for Camnet TV News.
The Zambezi River Authority is disappointed that the Zambian and Zimbabwean electricity companies, ZESCO and the Zimbabwean Electricity Supply Authority, ZESA, have been defying advice on water usage in the Kariba Dam. ZRA Chief Executive Officer Manyarazi Monodawafa says ZESA overused the water and the alarm was sounded in May, but that with limited powers to take punitive action, there is nothing they could do. Engineer Monodawafa also pointed out that if maintenance work is not done, there is a risk of losing 3 million lives and access to electricity, among other issues, if the dam is not rehabilitated. Meanwhile, Republican President Hakainde Hichilema acknowledged that the dam is not being properly managed by the two nations, thus directing ZRA to engage the ministerial committees of the two countries on the ongoing maintenance works. President Hichilema says he will engage his Zimbabwean counterpart Emmerson Mnangagwa regarding the construction works at the Kariba Dam and the management of the dam in general. Mr. Hichilema said this on Sunday when he visited Kariba Dam.
It is not a secret that the energy sector is a huge catalyst to economic development, and any changes in this sector may spell progress or misery, like is the case now among the households and businesses. The ongoing 12 hours load management schedule has been widely received as a bitter pill only likened to chloroquine, given the abortive assurance to curb load shedding. Sunday, 8th January 2022, Republican President Hakainde Hichilema had to familiarize himself with the situation on the ground at the Kariba North Bank power station, and during the stakeholders meeting, a number of issues emerged following a presentation by the Zambezi River Authority. Electricity generation capacity in Zambia by ZESCO and others is the 3,634.43 megawatts, and the Kariba Dam contributes 10,080 megawatts of power. And due to unsustainable practices by Zambia and Zimbabwe electricity companies, such as the failure to adhere to recommended water usage, the issue of low water levels in the dam has emerged and is among attributes to the current power crisis, according to ZRA Chief Executive Officer Manyarazi Monodawafa.
The problems the Zambezi River Authority faces in terms of this regulatory authority which we have no control over the inlet facilities, where if ZESCO is not generating what in accordance what we're going to close now. Unfortunately, when we inherited the authority, or when we inherited this, or rather when we mandated, one of the issues which we did not get was the control of the inlet facilities. Obviously, maybe it's best with the utilities. So we can only shout and shout.
He also gave an update on the dam maintenance and also made assurances that the power challenge may be over by February as the water situation improves.
The only improvement we are looking at is between the end of January now and going onwards. And we expect that by by end of February, or rather even mid-February, we expect that the load management that people are currently expecting should be something of the past, should the current trend occur.
Meanwhile, President Hichilema acknowledges that the dam has not been properly managed by the two nations and called for a meeting to resolve the problem. He also disclosed that he will engage his Zimbabwean counterpart Emmerson Mnangagwa on the matter.
Zambezi River Authority, the quicker you give us the information of the stabilization around here, then we can fit that into our own plans on the northern side of this asset. And we'll leave you to deal with that with your colleagues at ZESCO, and then obviously bilaterally at a country level. We want the best for Zimbabwe. I believe Zimbabwe wants the best for Zambia. We want the best for our economies. We deliver stronger economies in Zimbabwe and Zambia, will make our people happy on both sides of the river.
Patrick Soko, Camnet News.
President Hakainde Hichilema says power generation challenges should have been dealt with more than 30 years ago, expressing hope that his administration will ensure the problem is sorted out in the shortest possible time. Addressing the energy sector, task force appointed to find a solution to the current energy crisis Monday at State House, President Hichilema has observed that there is need for cooperations among various institutions to avoid any future occurrence of an energy crisis. The head of state has also disclosed that power utility ZASCO has agreed to settle the date it owes Mamba Collieries by August 2023. President Hichilema says ZASCO and Mamba Collieries have agreed to have the first part of the $518 million cleared by the end of April this year, and the remaining amount to be paid by August this year. More in this report.
An attempt to black out the media by some task force official at State House this morning, Monday the 9th of January 2023, during a meeting held to resolve the present energy crisis, had the plans prevented after the Republican President Hakainde Hichilema insisted that the media stick around during the initial discussion. President Hichilema insisted on the media being present as to avoid misinformation on the energy crisis, which seems to have taken center stage after the start of load shedding.
Task force or working group to deliver energy sufficiency and service. I think we must keep the theme alive. And the challenges we have maybe just provoke us to do what we should have done 30, 40 years ago as a country. That's the way I see things myself. That's how my brain works. So when people are complaining, flip the coin around, address the complaints, but ensure they don't complain again by finding solutions.
As the meeting commenced, President Hichilema noticed that ZESCO Managing Director was missing in action, a situation that prompted the head of state to order that the representative sent by ZESCO steps out and call. The ZESCO MD arrived 20 minutes later after the meeting had started, and in addressing a task force appointed to find solution to the current energy crisis, the head of state observed the need for cooperation among various institutions such as Ministry of Energy, Information and Green Economy to plan on such effects can be avoided in future and communicated to the people. The president also noted that it was not a hidden fact that the Zambezi River Authority did not do a good job in managing allocation water to the two countries, Zambia and its neighboring country, Zimbabwe.
That's good enough. Finances here. I notice this was, is this the way?
Yes, Mr. President, we have presented. I didn't get the name. You can just see your name.
My name is CHISHIMBA.
Okay. We'll give you time to take a step outside, call the MD to come in. Yeah, when we settle down.
Earlier, Green Economy Minister stole the show after the Energy Minister, who was tasked by the President to explain to the task force over the outcome of his visit at Kariba Dam and Mamba Collieries, failed to explain. The Energy Minister, who was expected to be on top of the show, considering the fact that the current situation is in line with his ministry, told the President that he had failed to be on site because of bad weather. However, alluded to the fact that he was visiting the site tomorrow.
I think when you visit Kafue and you stated then that load shedding had ended, that statement was spot on, because when you look at the Kariba and the Kafue system have enough water for generation. You generated the Kafue upper, you generate a Kafue lower. For the Kariba system, and unfortunately, ZRA did not, as you stated yourself, Mr. President, manage this resource as adequately as they should have.
President Hakainde Hichilema and members of the task force on Sunday visited Mamba Collieries Limited and Kariba Dam North Bank, which is a ZESCO hydropower system.
With respect to accrued liabilities, this is amounts going back to a few years since ZESCO wasn't paying its bills to Mamba, and they have also reached an agreement in respect of that. Specifically, they have agreed 2 milestones. Half of the outstanding amount due is payable by the end of April, and the balance of that amount is payable by the end of August.
At the moment, the country is experiencing a 12-hour load shedding treatment from last week, which effective 9th January 2023 has been split in 2 6-hour operations with outage breaks. Miriam Kaimba reporting for Camnet TV News.
The opposition Patriotic Front aspiring President CHISHIMBA KAMBWILI has refused to attribute some growth in the Zambian economy to President Hakainde Hichilema's administration. Mr. KAMBWILI says that President Hakainde Hichilema must not brag about growing the economy, adding that it is coincidental as the global community is healing from the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic and climate change issues. He alleges the global economy is rebounding, so it is obvious that Zambia is benefiting from global changes. Meanwhile, Fitch Solutions forecast has projected that in 2023, Zambia's economic growth will accelerate to 3.7%, driven by recovery in mining exports and strong private investment. Details in this report.
The Trading Economics projects Zambia as one of the poorest countries in the world, with 60% of the population living below the poverty line. Zambia's economy has been growing rapidly and due to expansion of copper mining industry and agricultural diversification, but any growth in the economy has not been able to translate into tangible benefits to ordinary citizens. Under the United Party for National Development administration, the country has seen some growth from negative to positive growth of between 2 to 3%, and President Hakainde Hichilema believes the economy is heading in the right direction.
To your views, receiving them, we welcome them. But remember, with a 5-year mandate, I think in the first 1 year, we've done pretty well. You can angle your own assessment. But for me, seated here, it's not enough. What we've done is not enough. I'm the first one to say we could do more.
But Patriotic Front aspiring President CHISHIMBA KAMBWILI charges that President Hichilema should not brag about any growth in the economy, saying it is owing to positive global changes.
Hakainde Hichilema has been boasting that after he came into office, the Zambian economy is on the recovery trajectory because of his leadership, and that we are now recording positive 2.5% of growth, GDP growth. But I want to tell you that from 2014, the world economy started plummeting to the effect that almost all the countries in the world by end of 2021 were in the negative in terms of growth, GDP growth. The only 2 countries in the world that recorded growth was China and Ethiopia at 1%. 1%. The rest of the countries, including the big economies in Africa, Nigeria and South Africa, were all in the negative. As we speak today, all the countries are recording growth of about between 1.6 to 2.5% growth.
He says previously the local economy was highly affected with the COVID-19 pandemic and climate change.
So it's not true that it's President Hakainde Hichilema who has made the Zambian economy to rebound to record 2.5% growth. It is just that the factors that led to the economy being in the negative have been overcome. If he's saying he's the one, is he the president in South Africa? Because South Africa is also recording growth of about 2.6, 2.5.
However, according to findings by the Zambia Institute for Policy Analysis and Research, ZIPA, Zambia's economy grew on account of financial discipline being observed by the government. Patrick Soko, Camnet News.
Valley View Marketeers Cooperative Society Chairman Crispin Mwanza has lamented the alleged operation from political party CADRES belonging to the United Party for National Development (UPND) at Mutendere East Market, where the cooperative operates. Speaking to Camnet News, the chairman explains that the cooperative has the task of collecting revenue for electricity from traders and other utilities at the market, stating that it is these funds that the CADRES come demanding for. He has since called for the demolition of the UPND party office at the market, questioning if such offices should be allowed in such facilities, despite the call from the head of state to end Cadreism. We have more in this report.
While reports of Cadreism in Lusaka Central Business District have reduced, the vice is reportedly thriving in community markets. This is an office belonging to the United Party for National Development (UPND) at Mutendere East Market near the National Resources Development College (NRDC), which has been locked up by the Zambia police after reports of Cadreism from market officials operating from this office. Valley View Marketeers Cooperative Society Chairperson Crispin Mwanza explains that the market is run by the cooperative, adding that cooperative leaders have been at loggerheads with market officials from the UPND office who dissolved the cooperative leadership without following due procedure and have been demanding that they hand over all funds collected from the market, such as those for electricity.
My surplus yesterday, it was the UPND cadres came, the name of Mr. Snonge, the ward chairman, and Mr. Bonga and the rest. The wife? And the wife of Mr. Snonge. They came here to close the office. And then most of the time, when they visit us in the office, they always demand 2,000 kwacha. We don't have that money. We don't have that money. The money which are collecting is very, even you can see, the shops are closed. All shops are closed. So now we said we don't have money, and most of them they're saying, if you don't have money, which means us, we're going to remove you. But when I take up, madam, the union, then we have most of the time putting and drama. That's just a
Meanwhile, Cooperative Treasurer Charles Nyirenda has alleged that the said card has broken into the cooperative office, which had over 25,000 kwacha of revenue, and even changed the lock of the office.
They have put in, they have removed the lock which we locked the office. Surprisingly, I found that they have put in their own lock. Now, I left some money which we collected. The levies which we collected in this market. I also left something, my own pocket money, which I use my own business. That's I'm doing bakery. Yeah. So what we want, what I'm asking for is just they come and open for us, please. If they open so that we see what we left inside, if they are there.
Meanwhile, a concerned UPND member, Moses Chinza, has also commented on the issue.
So now these guys with impunity yesterday, they came, chased out these guys who are here, locked up the officers, and with impunity, they said that we've actually dissolved the committee without following the procedure. I want to make the point very, very clear. Much as I'm concerned, there is nobody who's going to take it all into their own hands. UPN is a law-abiding party. These guys are not answerable to the cadres. These guys are only answerable to the union. Moreover, there was a very big problem here, of which there was a mountain of garbage, which was actually accumulating just behind there.
The matter is currently being investigated by the Zambia police, while police call-outs have been issued for the accused parties. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
In international news, over 6 million Beninese were called to elect 109 MPs on Sunday. The election marks the return of opposition candidates after a 4-year absence. After 15 days of smooth campaigning, election day was calm. Now, according to observers, the turnout is said to be lower than in 2019. The polling stations were to open at 6 a.m. GMT and close by 3 p.m. GMT. Just over 6 million voters were called to vote. Dean Israel cast his ballot with high hopes. In other news, 39 people were killed and more than 100 others injured when 2 buses crashed in a head-on collision overnight on an arterial road in Senegal's central Kaffrine region, President Macky Sall told reporters on Sunday. Images of the incident showed the completely mangled front end of a white bus with the blood-flecked seats, personal items and shoes strewn around the tree-lined crash site. Road accidents are common in Senegal, largely because of driver error, poor roads, and experts said, but the latest disaster has caused one of the heaviest losses of life from a single incident in recent years. Here's a roundup of international news.
The mangled wreckage of the bus lay on the side of the road Sunday as onlookers paused to comprehend the scale of the disaster. Others offered a hand collecting bits and pieces of the victims' belongings. Authorities said early investigations suggested the passenger bus suffered a burst tire and swerved off course, colliding head-on with another oncoming bus. Later on Sunday, President Macky Sall visited the scene of the accident, a highway in the country's central Kaffrine region. The difficulty to identify other bodies remains. It will be done as we go along. The state will provide all the support and solidarity to the bereaved families, but also to the injured or their families to reduce their suffering. The president also visited the injured in hospital. The country's prime minister convened an interministerial meeting on Monday and invited along transporters, drivers, insurers, and security services to discuss road safety.
Beninese President Patrice Talon voted Sunday in Cotonou for the country's legislative elections. After a smooth campaign, election day was calm. According to observers, turnout is said to be lower than in 2019. Polling stations were to open at 6 a.m. GMT and close by 3 p.m. GMT. Dine Israel cast his ballot with high hopes. The members of the assembly must defend us. They will think of the population who's suffering, especially to get food. That's what matters, because we have to eat to be strong. Just over 6 million voters were eligible to take part in the polls. Despite the country's economic growth, some Beninese have yet to experience better times. The MP I'm voting for has made many promises, and we want them to be kept. Our children just need to get employed. They go to university for 1 or 2 years, and then they end up at home, selling communication units or driving a motorcycle cab. That's enough of that. 7 parties, 3 of which claim to be in the opposition, are vying for the 109 seats in the National Assembly, 24 seats being reserved for women. The parties that will receive over 10% of the votes will share the seats according to the proportional system.
That's all in international news. Time now for sports. With the Copper Queens already qualified to the 2023 FIFA Women's World Cup in Australia, New Zealand, Zambia has an additional representative in FIFA referee Diana CHIKOTESHA, who is among 55 assistant referees selected to officiate at the biggest football showpiece for women. According to the list of appointed match officials announced by the FIFA Referees Committee Monday afternoon, CHIKOTESHA has made the cut for the tournament that runs from 20th July to 20th August 2023. CHIKOTESHA has shown at the highest level in the last few years, with the first assignment in 2023 coming at the Algeria 2022 in African Nations Championship. According to FIFA, there will be a total of 33 referees, 55 assistant referees, and 19 video match officials that will form FIFA Team 1 and have been chosen in close cooperation with the 6 confederations based on the officials' quality and the performances delivered at FIFA tournaments as well as at other international and domestic competitions in recent years. For the first time in the history of the FIFA's Women's World Cup, 6 female VMOs have also been selected. Now, in January and February, the selected match officials will participate in preparatory seminars reviewing and analyzing video clips of real match situations and taking part in practical training sessions with players, which will be filmed to enable participants to receive instant feedback from instructors. Zambia will be making their World Cup debut and have been paired in Group C alongside Spain, Costa Rica and Japan, and will kick off their campaign against Japan at Waikato Stadium in New Zealand on 22nd July. At the just-ended FIFA World Cup in Qatar, retired Zambian referee LUSAKA'S was among the officials at the biggest soccer showpiece. And on that sporting item, we come to the end of the news this afternoon, but let's look at the headlines once again. Traders in Lusaka's Mutendere East oppressed by political party CADRES. Zambia economic growth coincidental charges PF presidential hopeful CHISHIMBA KAMBWILI. In our international headlines, Senegal mourns dozens killed in bus crash. And finally, in sports, another World Cup record for Zambia as CHIKOTESHA gets a top appointment. Thank you so much for watching. On behalf of the entire production and news crew, my name is Louisiana Lupumbo. It's bye for now and God bless.